Welcome to the Black Appalachian Coalition's podcast entitled Black Remembering, where we will bring to you the heavy and the hope across the Ohio River Valley. We want to remember who we are, where we've come from. We want to speak to the oral history of what we've done, what we've achieved. We want to speak to the ills that we have experienced while also finding solutions to those problems, those issues. We want to deal with the narrative that has kept us deeply rooted in despair. Now we want to punch through that narrative and stand up and say, we are remembering our Black past, and we are rooted, and we are here to stay. Welcome to Black Remembering. We hope that you find your place, your space, and your voice in this podcast.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Black Remembering podcast, where we highlight the heavy and the hope. This is NitaJade, your host for this episode, and today I'm going to lean more toward highlighting the heavy, but I'm going to try my best to leave y'all with some hope. I've taken a step back from the show due to my family absolutely going through it this year, particularly for the past few months. Honestly, we've been going through it for a few years now. My OG queen passed away on September 26, 2021. And since then, we've attended way too many funerals. But this year was different. This year was a doozy. My great-grandmother passed away earlier on in the year. In fact, if you log on to the cremation and funeral home that we've used, you can scroll up and see my great-grandmother, scroll down to see my big cousin, and scroll down some more to see my uncle. In the past few years, I've buried my grandmother, my great aunt, my great-grandmother, my big cousin, and my uncle. 2023 alone, I've buried my great-grandmother, my big cousin, and my uncle. In the past few months alone, I've buried my cousin and my uncle. Actually, let me put it like this. My mama, my queen mother, has buried her mother, her grandmother, her brother, her aunt, and her cousin. The point is, we've been suffering. 2023 has brought us a tremendous amount of grief, which is suffering. At my uncle's ceremony, the owner of the funeral home, which I will not name since I do not have permission, but I don't think there are a whole lot of Black-owned funeral and cremation services in Asheville, North Carolina, so y'all can put two and two together. But at my uncle's ceremony, the uncle of the funeral home gave us a statistic that I'm going to paraphrase for y'all. He said, on average, a family experiences something as devastating as death once every 7 years. I'm gonna repeat that for the people in the back. One time every 7 years, on average, a family experiences something as devastating as death. For whatever reason, that statistic gave me something logical to attach my grief to. It gave me a bit of external validation. We've had a grossly unusual amount of deaths in my family. I felt that. I knew that. Yet the statistic made it logical and somehow more validating. If my therapist is listening, I understand that that's valuing external validation over internal validation. I have successfully made this observation, and I promise I'm working on it. But anyways, grief is trauma. Missouri's Early Connections website specifies the 3 different traumas as follows. 1, acute trauma, which results from a single incident. like a one-hit quitter. 2, chronic trauma, which is repeated and prolonged. 3, complex trauma, which is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events. I'd say that it's safe to combine the last 2. It's safe to say that 2023 has landed my family somewhere between chronic and complex trauma. Grief, consecutive, back to back to back grief is a low down 30 thief. It robs you. And at times, it feels like you're losing your mind and your grip on reality. It feels like that, especially when you try to ignore the grief. I made this mistake. I made this mistake twice, and I'm experiencing the consequences right now. When my cousin died on September 23rd, I didn't take the time that I needed to mourn. I set up online classes because I knew I needed to be with my family, and if you're an educator who survived teaching during the height of the pandemic, you can relate to this. Teaching online means doing just as much work, if not more work, than teaching on campus. I went back to my in-person classes and meetings, and I lied to myself. I told myself I grieved during the 2-day fall break that we got in mid-October. And then that fall break came, and I didn't grieve. I chose to catch up on grading papers and grading assignments. Basically, I just kept working from home. Then at the end of October, I found out that my beloved uncle was brain dead. There was a lot of traveling back and forth between Virginia and North Carolina. There was some shady things going on at that hospital, but that's for another episode, maybe. Eventually, my uncle took his last breath on November 5th, 2023. I did the same things I did in October. I pushed away my grief, saying that I processed it all once the semester ended, once I turned in my final grades, once I finished up all my clerical meetings, once I crossed that I'm done with the semester finish line. But just like life, one thing about grief is you cannot control it. You can try, but life is going to life and grief is going to grief. So I broke. I dragged myself across that finish line, but when I crossed it broken. I'm still breaking down. My partner took me on a cute little lunch date yesterday, and I had to dismiss myself and go ugly cry in the bathroom before our food made it out to the table. My point isn't to overshare or somehow make light of mourning. My point is to warn y'all. Please do not do what I have done. Please show up for yourself before trying to show up for others. Please grieve now, not tomorrow, not after work, not after your to-do list is complete. Do it now. Don't block yourself up or break yourself down with your own grief. As my queen mother has told me plenty of times, let it out, baby girl. Get a good cry in. Be in that moment. Allow it. Because if you're like me, you can't just keep going. You can think you will. You can trick yourself into thinking it's possible, but your whole day will surround itself around that ugly cry that's stuck in your throat. Go ahead and get it out. As my Black fellow and death doula, Melanie, has advised, let the tears fall without wiping them away. The tears are healing. The tears are cleansing in and of themselves. When I finally told my therapist about my familial deaths, I tried to say it real quick in passing at the end of our session, and she made me pause. She cut me off and made me pause to stop and acknowledge what I had just said. I had acknowledged verbally that 2 lives were ended. 2 people that I loved were gone. She reminded me that losing any loved one is a trauma. It is a loss. My family's lives and my life are forever changed by the subtraction of my family's physical existences. As the holidays approach, it gets harder. And I invite y'all to pause in your grief and acknowledge who you've lost. Give yourself permission. If you need someone to give you permission, then I'll do it. You are allowed to grieve. I give you permission to grieve. You are allowed to respect yourself and your wellness enough to mourn. Nita, you are allowed to respect yourself and your wellness enough to mourn. We are all allowed to let the waves wash over us as they come. I'd like to end today's short episode with a hopeful quote from The Equalizer 3. The quote says, "When you don't remember somebody out loud, they die twice." End quote. Speak the names of those you've lost into the air. Tell them you love them. Tell them you miss them. Cry. Cry again. Ugly cry. Shout and holler if you have to, but please don't dismiss your heartache. Holding that grief in and neglecting to say their names, neglecting to carry on their memories, that's just another way of letting them die all over again. And I refuse any more death. I'm gonna remember them. I beg you, please don't let them die twice. I invite you to write them a letter, or at the very least, I invite you to speak a few of their names and memories aloud with me. Grandmama, you are our legend. You are legendary. I strive to carry your love and selflessness with me everywhere I go. It is an honor to be of your blood. Big Reese, you are a big brother to all. I'm signing up for boxing classes this month to carry you forward. Uncle Man, when you could still speak, the last conversation we had involved you asking me if I was okay. You were hooked up to wires, yet you were asking me if I needed anything, any help. You looked out for the cookout. So I got a chess set at home, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to get good enough to make you proud. Grandma Nana, my OG queen, I miss you every single day. I aim to make your staples. And I doubt I'll get it to taste just like yours because you are untouchable in the kitchen. But please know that I try. I'm trying. I aspire after your heart. I aspire to show your love and embody your strength. I'm going to listen to your warnings, and I'm going to take care of my health as best as I can. And yes, ma'am, I carry your memory on by spreading love through food. You were, you are a good woman, and we celebrate you. I hope y'all were able to join me in voicing some of your loved ones' names and some of their memories out loud. Melanie was kind enough to suggest a book to me that I'd like to share with y'all. The book is called The Myth of Closure by Pauline Boss. I've ordered myself a copy, and I invite y'all to do the same, or go ahead and put it on your holiday wish list, or submit a request to your local library so that they can order it on behalf of the community. Melanie and I are planning a collaborative podcast episode on grief and healing. So keep an eye out for that one. Peace and blessings, y'all.